Guys, I'm out ripping around the island today, and I thought I'd do a pit stop here on the very south end of Salt Spring Island at the oldest church on Salt Spring, built by the Hawaiians 142 years ago. This is a Hawaiian built church. It was encased in stone in 1973 by some stone salesmen, so I don't even know if that's real stone. I don't think it is. And this is a Hawaiian cemetery. And I'm going to read something to you. There's a lot of history here. So the oldest church on Salt Spring, built 142 years ago, 1880. These are all Hawaiian graves. A lot of Hawaiian history here. We had a lot of Hawaiian settlers come to Salt Spring Island around the mid-1800s or so. And they settled here on the south end of Salt Spring Island at the head of Fulford Harbor. Apparently there's more graves underneath the road there. That's what one of the local Hawaiians told me. And you can see the pukas on the graves. Puka shells, 1874. It's pretty cool, huh? Lots of Hawaiian history here. So we do have roads named after the Hawaiians. We have Tahauni Road, there's Lummi Road, there's, what other roads are there? There's Kanaka Road, Kanaka Skate Park. Beautiful old graves. Old graves. I love the pukas, and I'm going to show you, there's actually a direct descendant of King Kamehameha in here. William Nakana and his daughter are buried in this graveyard. The graveyard also goes up there too. It is hot out here today. Much hotter here than where I was in Ganges. So this plaque recognizes with gratitude the contributions to our island community made by the Hawaiians and their First Nations families. Their volunteer labor contributed to the construction of St. Paul's Church, and their intercultural coming together promoted values still cherished on Salt Spring Island. Ua Maui Kia, I can't pronounce the Hawaiian thing, but that's what it says. The life of the land is perpetrated in righteousness. So there it is. And this is I call it the Hawaiian Church and Graveyard. And let's go to the side of the building. That is the Pacific Ocean right there. That's why Salt Spring Island is referred to as Canada's Hawaiian Island. Not only we have the Hawaiians, we have the palm trees, and we boast one of the best year-round climates in Canada. Salt Spring's first church. This is Salt Spring Island's oldest church, founded in 1878, erected between 1880 and 1885. Members of the community. Isn't that cool? The church, the windows came out of the Butter Church in Cowichan Bay. The Kanakas, men from Hawaii, came to British Columbia around near the year 1850, mainly as laborers for the Hudson's Bay Company at Fort Victoria. Some of these pioneers settled Portland, Russell, and Coal Islands, but the largest groups chose to South Salt Spring, where they farmed, fished, and logged. Many married Native women, and their children attended Beaver Point School. Beaver Point School's still there, believe it or not. They held Hawaiian luau's. I've been to a Hawaiian luau. On the Fulford beaches. They helped build St. Paul's Church, and members of several Kanaka families are buried in the cemetery. Some descendants still live on Salt Spring. And was I right? It was stonework was added in 1973 and dedicated May 10th. The church was formally dedicated 10th, 1885. So there you go. Little bit of history for you folks about Hawaiian history on Salt Spring Island. You have to love it. Hawaiian history is pretty amazing stuff. Let's go over here, and I'm going to show you a grave of William Nakana. So more Hawaiian graves over here. What a great day to bike, huh? Let's go check it out. I'm hot with this leather jacket on, man. I'm frickin' cooking. Blackberries, gonna be a lot of blackberries. So when you're in Canada, sometime you visit the west here, is the Southern Gulf Islands off the extreme southwest coast of British Columbia. So let's walk up here, because a lot of people don't even know this exists. And there are more graves up here, Hawaiian graves. And William Nakana is said to be a direct descendant of King Kamehameha. The king that ruled the islands, brought them all together under one kingdom. Right, so, and then his daughter, I think, is buried beside him. He died in 1909. I think it was 1909. Lots of graves in here. I gotta watch where I walk. Don't want to be stepping on graves. Okay, So there's his daughter. They did some stupid thing and they tried to straighten this gravestone and they scraped up the gravestone. Died in 1908. Oh, just a minute. Died. It's hard to see. Yeah, died in 1908, May 16, 1908. Okay, so that, I don't know if that was his daughter. His daughter's in here somewhere. I thought this was his daughter. This is William Nakana. Matter of fact, he was even featured on our bottle of beer several years ago. So this is William Nakana. There's a picture of him there. Old Hawaiian dude, moved here from the Sandwich Islands. And isn't that cool? He died, he was born in 1813, wow. Died 1909. William Nakana. And there's the church over there. So be sure to check out this old graveyard, Hawaiian graveyard and church on Salt Spring Island. And I hope you enjoyed some of the Hawaiian history here. All right, thank you very much for watching. And aloha from Canada's Hawaiian Islands. Cheers.